Kimberly Olson here, back for another episode of the Gold Digger Girl podcast. And for today, I have a special guest for you. It's Lauren Buckner, the business builder. Welcome on, Lauren. I'm so excited to have you.
Thank you, Kimberly. I'm very excited to be here.
Yay, this is awesome. And you are one of those women that remind me of myself in the best ways as far as being able to just really step into a different version of yourself, a different level, tapping into the unknown and being able to blaze your own path, right? And be able to really follow your dreams. And I think that's so cliche saying it out loud, but like, we've forgotten to do that. And there's so much that comes into it. But I want to unpack just who you are and all the things. So first off, so grateful to have you here. And I would love, because I feel like some people might not know you. I know a lot in our community know you because you've been a student in our programs. Introduce us to Lauren as far as your let's say corporate. Tell us how you stepped into entrepreneurship and what you do today.
All right, perfect. So once again, my name is Lauren Buckner, and I am known as the business builder. And I help women build strong businesses on a solid foundation to leverage their business income and create money babies. And that's that long, strong money that's growing forever and ever. I do have an amazing kind of like story that got me here. I have a legal background. I'm a lawyer. I've been practicing law for 17 years, and I have a specialty in business law and real estate development. I had an amazing career. I've had an amazing career, but to be honest, it was a career that I had to choose because of some situations that happened in my life. I mean, I always wanted to be a lawyer, but I never wanted to be a corporate lawyer. I wanted to be a lawyer that was like on the international platform, running around the world. You know, I'm a pretty energetic person, not meant to be in a box, definitely not meant to sit in an office all day.
Right.
But, you know, life sometimes throws you lemons, and I made some lemonade out of it, and I just created an amazing career. During that career, what happened is first I had a breakdown because I was doing something that I didn't want to do, and I was doing it at 1,000%. And I literally had a breakdown at the top of my legal career at partnership, and I walked away for 2 years. I took a sabbatical because I had to really focus on myself and my children. I am a single mom, and at that time, my children were pretty young. They were elementary school age, and I was really struggling with how to balance my life, how to balance their life, and how to be an amazing attorney. So I took the sabbatical, and in that process, I really took care of myself and created a business, a health and wellness business by accident. It's called Body by Buckner. And it was by accident because I just created programs that I used to save myself. And I started to do the same thing with other women. That helps me to get my mind together. And I went back to the practice of law, right? Because now I was balanced and I knew kind of what, my boundaries. But it didn't really work because, again, I wasn't really supposed to be in that box. I had all this energy, and I was working with multi-million-dollar companies, helping them grow their businesses, helping a lot of developments be built, but I really wasn't working with the regular person. And to be honest, that's what inspired me to go to law school. Is I was living in Bolivia, South America, and I saw a lot of protests, and I wanted to be involved in the protests with the people, right?
Right.
So I wanted to go to law school to be with the people, to help the people. But I started to create this career where I was not with the people helping the people per se. I was helping the people at the top, and maybe the benefits trickled down. And I really also had a really big desire for women to just have strong businesses because of some things that happened in my background, and also my desire to create additional income for my life. So I started kind of mentoring women by accident. Again, everything just kind of happened by accident. And, I started to think, maybe I could actually coach women to build businesses and also help them create a very strong legal foundation, because I found that a lot of business owners were starting in the middle with the fun part about business, but they weren't really looking at what their legal structure should be. They didn't have any contracts in place, no agreements. They thought it was a waste of time.
I've never done that.
Been there, right? We all been there. And so I wasn't really sure what to do with that, and kind of like struggled, to be honest, for the last 3 or 4 years. And then this year, I just had like the universe, everything was in perfect alignment. My youngest child was graduating. It kind of gave me permission to start to think about my next chapter. And then I had these amazing coaches. You might know one of them. Her name's Kimberly Olson. And then I have Wendy Cat. And I had these 2 amazing women who really believed in me and started to say, I think you're focusing on the wrong thing. And I'm like, I'm not. I think you're focusing on the wrong thing. You need to do this. I was like, I'm not. And then I was starting to think, maybe I need to refocus. I went to an in-person mastermind and with you, and everything just was like, this is clear. This is where I need to be. And I realized, and you actually made me realize, like, I was already doing the business. You're like, all the women in here are asking you questions right now.
Yes. Oh,
And
I have
you're over
chills.
here
You
holding
were. Yeah.
masterminds at your table. Remember, you told me that you're
Yes.
like now. And I was
Like
like,
what you're doing.
yeah, I was like, oh. And so I pivoted. I left the formal practice of law and
Wow.
started my own business and legal consulting firm where I now help regular women, right, build strong businesses. I'm talking about 6-figure and 7-figure businesses. We're making money over here, right? And we're
Right.
doing it together.
Oh, I love that. It's such a wonderful story. And, we'll talk about your book in a second and everyone can learn more about your background and everything. But it's so cool because how I'm sure there was a part of you, because you said you have this desire to help women in their businesses and make money babies, but I'm sure there's moments when you had that idea to do it, but then thought, who am I? Or what about leaving the corporate? I mean, I feel like law, medical, like when you have a really great income and you've gone to schooling and all these things, it is very, first off, it's taboo to leave. But second, it's gotta feel like you're jumping off of like out of a plane without a parachute. So what was that mental component like for you?
Yeah, so I'm just gonna, I don't want to curse on here, but it was definitely a
You
mind,
can, it's okay.
right? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It was a
Yeah.
mind F, right? I really wanted to leave a long time ago, but I'm gonna be honest, I didn't think I could survive. I didn't think that I would be able to build a business, make money to survive and take care of my family. The downside of having that amazing job is that you make amazing money. And so
Right.
you're making this big money, and even though my heart and desire was on the other side, I'm like, dang, it feels really nice every 2 weeks to get a certain amount of money. My family can live a certain way. We can travel, all the things I've ever really wanted. I was being able to fund through this career, but I wasn't funding myself, if that makes sense. Like
Ooh, so
I was,
good.
I was like, So I didn't want to leave. I didn't think I could do it. I didn't think who was going to listen to me. I'm like, I'm just a small person. I'm not in a firm, because they kind of make you think like your value comes from being in the firm, right? Like
Oh yeah.
as a,
Yes.
as a team, we got this. By yourself,
Yep.
you can't do it. And so, I fell into that. And so I really had a lot of doubt. But really what started to happen is I just was really uncomfortable in my skin. I hated getting up for work. I really couldn't even perform
Mhm.
anymore. I'm
Yeah.
trying to build the hours and I'm not hitting my billables. And they're telling me you're not hitting your billables. We're gonna either put you on probation, we're gonna talk about something else. And you know what? I didn't even care. Like I couldn't even increase my billables.
Go ahead. Yeah,
You,
probation.
you know what I mean? I'm like, well, damn.
Yeah.
If I was
Yeah.
literally, I'm like, if you put me on probation, that means I have at least 3 weeks to correct it, or 3 months to correct it. Then if you come back in that third month and we haven't corrected it, you're going to give me about 90 days to separate. Okay, so I got about 6 months, right, to figure this out. And that's literally kind of
Yeah.
how this big transition happened. I was like, I don't want to go back in and fix anything. I
Mhm.
just can't do it anymore. I don't care.
No.
Let me go. Let me go. And what happened is I started to realize that I was the prize. Like clients were coming
Yes.
to work with us because I was handling their matters, not because the firm was handling the matters.
Mhm.
And my JD is my JD. I leave, I'm
Yeah.
still here. I can
Yeah.
open up shop, right? And so I had a lot of doubt, but then I had a lot of people behind me and next to me saying, girl, you got this. You could do this. Like
Yes.
you got this. People saying, I want to work with you. I would love to work with you. And so I just jumped out there and I did it. And I did it knowing that if it didn't work out, I could always go back.
Yeah.
I mean, what's going to happen? I could just go back to another
We can all
million.
go get a job if we have to.
Girl,
Yeah.
come on now. We could always get a job.
Yes.
So I was like, if it
Yes.
doesn't work, I'll go back. But what if it does work?
Ooh.
If it
Mhm.
works and I get to fly high like I want to, and that's exactly what's happening, girl. I'm out here soaring. I'm
Yes,
spicy
you
these
are.
days.
Freaking love it. Yeah. So I remember we did a call and it was about Body by Buckner. You didn't have your business builder going yet. And I remember thinking, there was a disconnect because I wasn't seeing you show up online, and I know it was more, brick and mortar style, but you understood the need for online with the pandemic and all that. And I was like, And then I saw you show up and start showing up. I was just like, that's how you show up. That's a boss. And I started telling people, go watch her, go watch her. This is what I'm talking about. And you did. You were so consistent. You were so professional. And I think that there's this, I'm just going to say it. I find myself tiptoeing around the idea of branding and having the background and having the photo shoot in my hair. And this is the truth. Buyers are so picky. Those that don't step up are going to be left behind in 2024. They just are. And it is so important to put your best foot forward. So tell us a little bit about that, because that was a new territory for you of having a weekly live show you produce. And let's talk about the stages. Let's talk about the book. Let's talk about the book tour. You guys, like just 6 months ago, she was like, I'm going to do this. Tell us like how I have chills. Tell us how that all happened, because it's so badass.
I was like, I almost can't even believe that it's happening. I have to remind myself that this is really my life. So,
Yes.
I mean, you're right. So we do like to be perfect when we step out there. We want to have the branding, we want to have the look. And I could have toyed with that. And I kind of did. And then, obviously having you like as my mentor, like really sets that bar high. Because I mean, you talk about branding and you can't say Kimberly Olson without branding. So I'm looking at you, I'm like, dang, I want to be polished like that. I want all my colors to flow. I want all this, but I don't have time to do that and start the business. The priority for me, I decided, was making the money. And I said that the value was going to be what came out of my mouth and not what the aesthetics was. And so that was my first approach, was that I was just going to start talking and showing up, as you said, as my authentic self and being consistent and letting everything else fall in place. And part of that was strategic as well, because I'm always telling women there's not a perfect time or a perfect way. So I also have to be that example. I got to jump out here. And it's been helpful because I think what's happened is people have been able to see me literally build my business and my brand,
Yes.
like authentically, right?
Yes.
And talk about the show. That's a prime example. I've never had a Facebook show, a YouTube show, a podcast show. And you had the blueprint, and you said in that very first module when I got into United Life, you need to have something that establishes you as an authority. You gave us like 4 or 5 different choices. I chose Facebook Live, had no idea how to do it, decided my launch date and launched it. And as I've done it, if you go back and look at the first episode, which was actually pretty good, right? You go back and look at the first episode to now, I have grown. We've done 21 regular episodes, and I'm just finishing up an author series where we did 6 special episodes. I've done like over 30 episodes on my own, no team. I am the team. What have I done? I studied. Who did I study? I just studied you, to be honest. I studied how you do your shows, how you do your StreamYard. And I'm like, let me set that up the same way. And then I just created topics, right? That are everyday topics that come into play beyond the business basics. So we really go deep in the show to talk about the real deal. And I've just loved it. And so it's been great to create the brand. I'm putting the pictures together and the look, and I'm still actually working on my branding. I don't have my color palette yet. I've been struggling with it, and I decided I just don't have the time right now to put to it. I have to just keep producing, and it's not preventing me right now from making money and getting the clients, right? Because they care more about what I'm saying versus like me being like, all polished.
Yes.
So I'm just going with the flow. And I think that's my whole message is, have a vision, but don't get so locked into it that it prevents you from moving. Because that's really what people want to see, is you take action.
Yeah, absolutely. And, to your credit, you are, you have a natural presence about you. You carry yourself with posture. And even if you think back to that first video, having a show, you're like, I have a show, it's launching. People think there's like someone who's going to show up at your front door that's like, congratulations, you now have a show, a weekly show. Like there's nobody going around telling us to have shows. So when you said like, I have a show, and you did that first one, you showed up prepared, you had your topic, you gave great value, you invited them, to come into your community. So whatever level you're at, you guys, it's about showing up as the best version of yourself right now, and know that you're never done. Your company, your brand, your reach, your message, what your offers are, they evolve. There's no like, we don't pass a line and we're done. So wherever you're starting, ask yourself, what can I do today to really take this seriously? That would be what it would be, is that you took it seriously from day one. You were like, I'm gonna go all in with this. I'm gonna give 110% of where I am right now with the bandwidth that I have to contribute to this. That is what it is you're taking this very seriously. So tell us about, how did the speaking start happening? How did the book come? Tell us about that.
Yes. So, okay. So there's no secret that I love to talk, right? I love to talk. I've loved to talk since growing up. I was always told, you talk too much, shut up, right? Sit down. But I
Yeah.
always had something to say. And honestly, I noticed a long time ago that I was able to move people with my words, right? It
Mhm.
really is like, it's a gift. I mean, in the legal profession as a business attorney, I negotiate, I have to persuade people to go certain ways. And so I always wanted to speak. I started to really also think about what my purpose was in life. I've been thinking about that for a while, right? And wanting to be able to convey my message, things that have happened in my life as a way to motivate other women or other people who might be similarly situated and motivate them and let them know that everything is possible, anything is possible. And so I wanted to start speaking. I started to study during the pandemic with Les Brown. I took a virtual seminar with him. It was amazing. We did a virtual summit and I did my first 10-minute speech and I was hooked. I was like, oh yeah, I want to speak and I want to get on stages. And so I just put it on my vision board. That's the first thing. I wrote it down, write the vision, make it clear. I wrote on my vision board that I wanted to speak. I wrote that I wanted to be an international speaker. I wrote that I wanted to own my own firm. It's so crazy, right? I wrote on there that I wanted to write a book. I wrote on there several things. I'm going to be honest, like they are really happening. Once I put it out there, I believe the universe just did its thing, right? And it was like,
Oh
all
yeah.
right, we got you. This is what you want to have happen. We got you. And so at the top of this year, I saw an opportunity to submit an application to be part of a co-authored book. And it was just going to be a very small group of women. And it was about women who had experienced traumatic adversities and have overcome them. And so my life is built on trauma. My life is built on adversity. Like the woman you see here, I should not be sitting here confident, strong. I should be in the corner somewhere, sucking my thumb because life has beat me up, right? And so I was like, well, that's the book I need to be in. So I was like, oh, okay. So I submitted a little clip of what I would write about, had an interview, got accepted, was so excited, and started on a 6-month writing process. And it was super intense. Now, I only have a chapter in this book. It's called Women Thrive Volume 2, but it's an amazing chapter. And this chapter is going to really give you insight as to who I am, where I come from, and why I'm so passionate about you building a strong business and having money. My life was built on lack of money, right? And because of the lack of money, we had lack of resources, lack of control, lack of power. I equated very quickly money, power, money, control, money, power, money, control. I need to have some money, right? And so, I need to have some money, you need to have some money. And so part of my writing is talking about that. And then this opportunity has led to me working with another amazing network. So it's like this year has been great, mainly because of my network. I'm going to be honest. I think I'm pretty awesome, but I did not see all of the awesomeness that I had inside of me until I was with the right community. The first community was the gold digger community. Like that's what birthed me. That's what got me here. Then I tapped into the Women Thrive community with Ramonda Jan. Amazing. In this community, I've been able to write, and she's seen a lot of me. And so she's put together like this speaking series. And so some of the authors she's asked to speak. So I'm going to speak on stage in Valencia, Spain on November 17th.
So exciting.
Girl, what are you talking about? I can't believe it. I'm going to speak on an international stage to inspire women to just push, to just go the next mile. Me, Lauren Buckner from St. Louis, Missouri. Girl, I used to go through trash cans to find food. I used to eat from the shelters. I was abused. I had homes with no running water, no electricity. Like, I'm not supposed to be doing any of this. But I decided that I was going to do it. And I wrote it down and I said, I'm going to do it. And I'm doing it. And it's literally just happening because I'm taking a step every day. I'm scared. I'm going to be honest with you. Every day I wake up with something in my stomach. I'm a little scared. I'm like, what is happening? But I think it's my next level that's happening. It's that imposter syndrome trying sometimes to sneak in. And I'm like, oh, no, not today. not today, Satan, you got to go because I have some things to do, right? And so it's scary. It's been hard, but it's everything and more than I ever wanted. I'm gonna be honest.
Oh yeah, it's so inspiring. And you know, the thing that you're experiencing is quantum leaping, and it's massive growth in a very short period of time. It's your compressing time. So why you're feeling that way is because you are growing so quickly. So all of us have the opportunity to go faster. And in order to go faster, we have to say, where are we going? And you've been really clear on that. Where do I want to go? Where do I see myself? What's the next level version of myself? Being really clear on that. And then when you see opportunities and taking that inspired action, trusting yourself, there's going to be that doubt that creeps in that moment of like, can I do this? Am I good enough? And it's to have that self-talk. There's this book, What You Say to Yourself, what you say when you talk to yourself. I read it a million years ago, but it was so profound that I was like, gosh, so much of what we experience is based on our internal dialogue, having that conversation, and then meeting the people and connecting. Because, you know, when you came into our community, we see one of two things happen. People will come in and they will sort of take from the community, and or they'll come in and they'll contribute to the community, and you've come in to contribute. You've come in to build relationships. You make our community better. I just find it says so much about who you are, that you're looking at how can I give? How can I impact this community? You're not coming in to take. And that's why is it Ramonda? How do you say her name?
Ramonda.
Ramonda.
Mhm.
That's why with open arms, she's had such a great experience with you going, yes, come in, girlfriend, because you're making her community better. That's how we make a difference and how we have that ripple effect. So you all can go faster. It's going to be up to you to claim that for yourself. So what do you do every day to claim that for yourself, Lauren? What do you do every day to like speak truth and say, I got this. I'm going to crush today. Let's go change some lives. Like, what do you do every day?
Well, first of all, I start off with a list because I need to know what it is that I want to do. So if I can't make the list the night before, I make it first thing in the morning as to what I'm going to do, right? The second thing is I really do have a standard operating procedure, you know, is what that is, right? So, right. So I get up and I meditate, or I listen lately because I'm preparing for my speech. I've been listening to a lot of Sarah Jakes Roberts. I'm not sure if you're familiar with her, because I do believe a lot of my life is spiritually based, right? Like there was a divine purpose over me before I came here. So I've really been trying to touch more with God. And so I've been listening more to different sermons in the morning. I take time to work out and do something for myself to release that anxiety, because I do wake up. I don't know if it will ever stop, but you know, I wake up still with a little that.
Absolutely.
Once I work out, it's gone. I make sure I eat. And then to be honest, like I just try right now to only communicate with positive people who are on my side. I've really had to like my best friend, I don't even talk to her. She's like, I haven't spoken to you. And it's because I realized she's not as supportive as I needed her to be. And it's not her journey, it's my journey, but it's my responsibility to put the people around me who I need. So I've really had to push people out. I've had to make sure that my circle is small and I'm only taking in that positive energy, because that helps me to keep going. And so every day that's really helping me. And the other thing that has saved me is I now have an executive assistant. She's amazing. She's really positive as well. And so we actually touch base now in the morning, like 6:30 a.m., which is, she's an hour behind me. So it's 5:30 for her. But we touch base.
She's a keeper.
She's a keeper, and she's a morning person, and I'm not. And she got me on the morning side, right?
Same.
So we touch base just about what I'm working on that day. And for some reason, I don't know if she knows I need it, but she's always like, you're so amazing. She always tells me that. And she says that she's so grateful to be working for me. And I'm grateful to be working for her. But that's how I'm starting my morning. You know, I'm starting my morning like that, and it just gets me like going, right?
We've got this. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, she's your work wife. And it's an entrepreneur, you know, somebody who, for VAs and all of that, because a lot of them are like, I don't know how to find a VA. You do have to be picky, but to find somebody who's an entrepreneur, somebody who's treating the work that they do as if it's their own company, and really, really supporting you and all of that. I think that's fantastic. And keeping your circle tight and close, which is hard for people. I've definitely gone through that multiple times. And every time after I get through it, I'm like, why did it take me so long to let that go? It's like, and you know what? We're not, that person has their own journey. It's not anything. They're just going to go do their thing. We're going to do our thing. But we can't keep going up if we have some things around us energetically. It even can be your workspace, you know, it could be other things. So I know my people and they love trainings and content and resources. So we're going to put the book link. Your homework is you guys go get this on Amazon, Women Thrive Volume 2. We'll put the link in there, but you guys can just look it up if you want to just search it, but we'll put the link below wherever this is. And then what, if someone's listening and they're like, I'm digging this interview, I want to follow Lauren, what platform is the best one for them to find you? And do you have any, like a community or anything we can include below so that they can get plugged in?
Yeah, so the best platform is probably going to be Facebook. Which is because before I started working with you, it would have been Instagram. You made me a Facebook person, but I like Facebook relationships better there. So yeah. Facebook is an amazing place to connect with me. If you go there and follow me in my banner, you're going to have an opportunity to click to join my Business Builder Lounge. This is my free VIP mentoring group where I am teaching in there every week. I have Sunday night school. I have resources in there. Free, we build community. So you want to get yourself inside of the Business Builder community. So follow me on Facebook and get inside the Business Builder community. That will also get you inside my Business Builder like Insider Scoop, which is like my newsletter that I'm sending out. And so you're going to get all of the things that you need.
Yeah. And I love your resources and the stuff that you email out and all of that. So, you know, some of the stuff that we get, we're like, but like your stuff, you really put a lot of thought behind it of great resources. Like even you had given a bunch of grants that women can get. Like you have like practical tools, must be your legal background too, of like, here's what you need. And so it's really going to help you guys out. And I love social media and all of that. And I don't have your legal background or any of that. And it's such a good compliment for us to be able to, you know, make sure everyone has a well-rounded approach to their businesses. So please, guys, like definitely go follow and check out her stuff and grab her book. And I'm so grateful for this time that you could share your story to show people it does not take long to change your life. You have to go first and you have to trust yourself and trust God. And you have done all of that and more. So thank you for being on, Lauren.
Thank you for having me. Have an amazing day, everyone.
Yes. And as always, until next time, get lit in your business and set your soul on fire. We'll see you soon.